Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another live stream recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, May 2nd, 2 days before May the 4th be with you, which is the big annual sale on Steam for Star Wars games. Tragic Master is already on the chat putting in an emoji of a bell, probably reminding people to subscribe and click that notification bell to get notifications. Oddly, though, the weird thing is, the last stream I did got like 50 views, and the notifications, at least for me, never went out at all. So I'm starting to wonder if notifications really even matter, but they almost certainly do, because people certainly complain about not getting notifications for the people that use it. So here's the deal. Last stream, we were frustrated trying to get 3 tavern, 1 mage victory on the Asian account. We only have 2 things to do today, which is good. So let's look at the Tavern Brawl and then decide if we're going to refresh 3 Tavern Brawl victories, or if maybe this will be a really easy Tavern Brawl. Wow. The winner goes to spoils. More wins means more rewards. 12 wins for a maximum of maximum glory. 0 wins gets you a card pack, so that's kind of nice. This is a Brawliseum. 3 losses out. But does that mean that this is going to be a free entry the first time and then cost money the second time? Brawliseums usually cost money, but since it's your first time, it's on the house. Enjoy. Okay, so it's basically an arena run. Ooh, Hearthstone. Hearthstone, you just didn't load your screen right. There we go. How did you just do that? I have no confidence that I'm going to get 3 victories, so I'm going to trade this because I'm certainly not going to pay money. So 65 damage to enemies and 2 games with the rogue are what we're focusing on. And certainly if we don't get everything done with the Tavern Brawl Arena run, we've got plenty of ranked games to try and play. Also, I've been in a weird position. A lot of non-YouTube stuff has come up, and because of that, I haven't even chosen what I'm going to like play now that I've finished Darksiders 2, which gives me nothing whatsoever to do. I've also been playing off-screen the runs here on my main account, but I still haven't defeated it with Time Tinkerer. And I've been struggling with recovering the footage of the Wild Hunt, Monster Hunt live stream to try and put those up in broken up sections. So I'm not really accomplishing as much, and certainly it's been made easier and easier by YouTube to neglect your YouTube channel and not really do anything. Let's face it, I'm not making any ad revenue on this channel. I got a new subscriber today, that's great, but subscribers aren't pouring in to the point where I think even in a year I have a guaranteed chance of having 1,000 subscribers. Even the people that do make the... I guess we're just gonna build a standard deck. This is gonna suck. This is gonna take forever. I mean, it really is just build the best deck you can build. So, couple of vanishes, probably. Let's see. Maybe we'll play some Death Rattle cards, but maybe not. Like, I don't think you'd want to use Blade Fury anymore since it was nerfed a long time ago. I'll take these. Do I need more than one head crack? Let's just take one of those. We'll take that. I think I'm mostly gonna focus on combo cards. Let's see. Couple cheat deaths. We'll take this Echo card. Take Shadow Step. We'll take Backstab. We'll take this. Maybe we'll take Betrayal. And then we'll come over here and see what else we want to get. Yeah. So yeah, it's hard to maintain focus and even really care if you're falling behind. In previous instances of me falling behind on my YouTube channel and the content I've created, I felt really bad about it. Now I'm kind of over it. It's like I've crossed that point in my head where it's like, now it's no longer my fault that my channel's not succeeding. It's clearly and obviously YouTube's fault for the most part. I mean, I can't push off all the blame, but there's clearly things they've done to make it impossible for YouTube content creators to be monetized, to succeed, to get views. And certainly there is a possibility that at some point in the future that'll change, and then I should be in line. My channel still has upward trajectory, I would say. It's still going in the right direction. I'm not losing subscribers, and I'm not losing views too much, except for every time there's a inconvenient little bug. Let's see, so what do I want to get rid of instead of, let's see, we'll get rid of this one for the owl and this one for the owl. I think I probably do want, let's get rid of these. I think I want this, and I'm really playing here, really trying to have something that probably should have a taunt in the deck. I'm wondering if I can play like Prince Malchezaar or something, or should I put Flappy Bird in here? Or is there a card that is the right card to put in? And see, the problem here is with like Hearthstone deck replay, it just doesn't kind of work. Like, that I should, through that app, be able to pick the exact cards that I should be playing based on it knowing my entire collection and it knowing the weight for all of those cards. But each one of these little slightly helper apps, cheater apps, if you feel the need to call them cheater apps, doesn't seem like it really helps. See, and I'd love to have this card, but no, it's not gonna happen. And I don't think we're gonna play with any of these cards. So I think I'm good. Let's see how this goes. Lock it in. Probably this is all we're gonna do all day, is just play the brawls, and hopefully that'll get everything done. I suppose I only really need to get one daily quest done today per account. That would make for a longer Friday, but I don't know if that's really what I want to do. Fridays still have a slight tendency to not be the right time to stream. People seem to be busy, and I don't fully like act surprised because of that. I understand people like to go out on Fridays and party and do things, and they're not usually stuck to a computer screen or a cell phone watching a YouTuber. So we started a little late today. That's just time zone stuff and insomnia stuff, I suppose. Although I can't really blame insomnia. If anything, I've been sleeping pretty well the past week or so. It's not been too bad. It's still probably horribly bad compared to normal people's sleep schedule, but that's not been too bad for my sleep schedule. So if I do this, and then this, and then this, and then we ended the turn. I built a lot of this deck around playing this one combo card. First game we have on Steam is called Keep Watching VR. Came out May the 2nd. It has 8 user reviews already. It looks like it's a VR horror game. Supposedly, I guess the screenshot has this clown. It has dark screenshot syndrome. Definitely, yes, there is a clown that looks very similar to like a copyrighted image of a clown. So maybe a little bit of theft there. Who knows? I mean, so many critics like me, including me, claim asset theft when we really have no proof or no clue. It's suppose a good thing we're not really credible, otherwise you might be charged with liable for it. See, this game is the only game from this developer. It's 10% off for $2.09, which is actually an incredibly cheap amount now that we've learned that most VR games, regardless of how bad they are, most games on VR, regardless of how short or bad they are not less than $5. There's 1 German negative review and 7 positive reviews. Let's see. This. Let's see. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know if there really is a target market for playing one of these poor quality horror games, wandering around like a hospital with a clown chasing you. It does have a gun in the trailer, so there is a thought maybe that you would be able to shoot the clown, but you can't kill the clown, because if you did, then the whole game would end. I'll go and hit that. It really is a lot of Twitch bait, I suppose. But it is what it is. I suppose not the worst looking VR game in the world. It looks like it's doing something that we've seen done in non-VR for a long time. Arg. Oh, you want to play that way? Well, then take that. At least that killed one of his characters. Gamasutra has an article. In-app purchases now available for Facebook's Instant Games platform. Right in the middle of controversy of people not liking microtransactions and in-app purchases, Facebook has ended it. Now, I suppose that the Instant Games platform might be different than the it might be slightly different than the previous Facebook Games platform. I've kind of got nothing now. So I can just play this. So I need this guy to play 4 if I have even a chance of succeeding. Let's see, was this? Unreal Engine had a live stream and they're announcing, I suppose, if you're interested in development, you could watch it apparently on Twitch. It's the animation blueprint setup and walkthrough part 2, May 3rd, which probably means if I click this link, there must be a Twitch channel that Unreal Engine has, and there's also a YouTube channel. So deal 2 damage to a minion. 2, 4, 6. I've noticed that the game has gotten pretty slow these days as far as just responding. And as I was playing the Monster Hunt with the Time Tinker, there definitely was a list of there was some, when you had the double time card with Time Tinker right now, when I was playing it last night, it wouldn't activate the double time a second time if it hasn't finished the animation the first time. So if I played Arcane Missile, then I played Arcane Missile again, the second Arcane Missile would simply just not it just would not work in the way that you would want. Let's see. Play this. I'll play that. There we go. Yeah, so Unreal does have a channel. So I should subscribe to that and just look at the mini animation examples, just for interesting interest reasons, I suppose. Seriously? He stole my card. Or he recruited a demon. Next game we have on Steam is called Good Boy. It says it's an action-adventure indie simulation. It looks like it's MS Paint graphics, though, so it does not look good. It's the first game for this developer, 10% off for 89 cents. It's got a bunch of Russian on the trailer, so we kind of know this is a fake game, a troll game, whatever you want to call it. So moving on. I've lost. There's like no way this is gonna work. Best I can do is just keep playing cards, I suppose. Next game we have on Steam is called Super Mega Baseball 2. From the people who made Super Mega Baseball Extra Innings and Super Mega Baseball. Try it again. Yeah, Super Mega Baseball 2 looks like the kind of baseball game I would play as somebody who doesn't particularly want to play a sports game. Has an all-time peak of 449. It came out May 1st. It is a legitimate game that is rated E for everyone, and I actually believe it was rated $29.99, or you could buy a bundle that I imagine includes a bunch of, looks like some DLC stuff that I'm a little bit unhappy seeing. It has like wild team customization, wicked team customization, bold player customization packs. It seems like it's got a bunch of cosmetic things. Is this game single player? Yes. So it does have that there. Let's continue here. Dedicated servers, multiplayer to play against 1 versus 1 to 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus CPU for friendly games, and then competitive is 1 versus 1 and 2 versus CPU. Looks like there's a real game here. Let's see. There's only 6 negative reviews where there's 56 positive ones. Let's see. Let's see. He has some people simply are just not happy with the sequel. Some people probably would have never been happy with a baseball game. Like his and not recommended says it's just really tedious and boring. Trying to remember what the different keys do is difficult as hell. Now, see, the problem, and I will be putting this in my wish list, but this is definitely a game where I would play it for about an hour and then give it up, just because I'm not a baseball fan. That's all that it comes down to, is just because I'm not a baseball fan, I'd very possibly only play it for a short time, do maybe a spotlight with it. Love that I owned it. I do feel like any video game player who is going for more of a diversity collection and is planning on having as many games as I have has probably some kind of slight desire to not be in a scenario where you have no sport games whatsoever. Let's see. So there was a game called Good Boy. There's also a game called Good Doggo that came out May 1st, and it's the only game that this developer's made, although they are selling the DLC to make it premium for $1.99, it is free. And this game, while the graphics are somewhat simplistic, they are an art style. It's a simplistic art style of a dog in which you stack as many dog biscuits, you know, treats, onto the head of the dog, and the stack just is dangerously falling for left and right. So I imagine what this is you click left to put the biscuit on the left, and you put the click right to make it lean on the right. And there are multiple stacks, so on the dog's head. Let's see. So yeah, for a free game, this is a one-screen game that's actually very good. So I'm gonna wishlist this free game, and I recommend people go play Good Doggo. One negative review that's not in my language. Let's see, is there anything here? There's 5 achievements. There's a couple different kinds of dogs you apparently can play as. I can't say anything wrong with this game. It's a very simplistic concept that I feel like a programmer who's new to the industry could make and put on their portfolio. And if I was trying to be a programmer new to the industry, and if I just was in my last year of video game programming college, of which there's a couple around the world, probably more than a couple nowadays, this would be exactly what I would. Now, arguably, you probably wasted your money putting it on Steam for $100, but going through that publishing process and having it available for people to download in a trustworthy form is maybe worth the $100, because if I was to put on my resume, go to this like Dropbox link, and most people aren't gonna type in a Dropbox link on a printed resume, although how many game programmers probably hand out printed resumes is probably very low, but a lot less people are going to be willing to actually look at your project. But if you tell somebody to type in Good Doggo on Steam and it's right there, that's certainly a different experience. Now, it's really weird that there were 2 games called Good Dog, but I imagine one of those games simply sold the other game, and the fake game called Good Dog came out to troll / counter advertise against the good game. Moving on, Gametsu has a Brave Neptunia first screenshots article. Brave Neptunia is coming out for the PlayStation 4 on September 27th in Japan. Probably not an article worth mentioning, frankly. More screenshots doesn't mean much of anything. Oh man, I'm playing so many. Like, I kind of want to wait till 10th turn to play this and then play this twice. Next game we have on Steam is called Mage League from Playloft, the publisher developer of a few games. Playloft always sounds like it's a bigger company than it actually is, and the games they do have are rated neutral, mixed at best. So the latest one is called Mage League. It says it's an action indie single player adventure strategy. And I'm seeing a trailer that's really not showing me what it is. It looks like it's an ability, maybe card-based, top-down, kind of like Diablo, hack and slash with abilities, but the abilities look like cards for some reason, so I assume maybe you can pick up the cards. It has an all-time peak of 2, and it came out April 30th. That does not sound good. It has 30 achievements. Let's see if there's any reviews. No. And why are there no reviews? We want to ask. I'm gonna just do this and end the turn. Like, why is this game not even getting the time of day? Is it because it looks like a generic Chinese crawl dungeon MMO game? Maybe it's because it's 30% off for $4.89, and for what it's showing, it doesn't really look like a $4 game. This has very similar screenshots, which makes, and they're not super appealing looking screenshots. And the trailer video doesn't look incredibly great because when they zoom in on the characters from a perspective, it seems like this game does have loot boxes in it. And because of that, I could see why people wouldn't even want to get started. If you have to get loot boxes to get cards to improve your abilities, to go down what, while this kind of does look like Diablo, it might just be a lane. So you might start at one end and work your way to the other end in battles. It also, I think, struggles by being only single player with loot boxes. That's not very interesting. Yeah, I can't really recommend this game, Magic League, so I'm just gonna leave it alone. Another failed game. Speaking of failed games, with the new GDPR, General Data Protection Regulations of the European Union, I think we're going to start seeing a lot of games, that the ones that are like Battleborn but a little bit less quality. Gigantic is the one that I heard about recently. Games where things are just how do I say this? A lot of MMOs, a lot of MOBAs, a lot of online games, I think, are going to start dying, and this is probably going to be a major reason why we start to see the end of a generation of games as services and a return to single player experiences. They just kill everything. So if I do this, and then this, and then this, and then do this, and then the turn. But I guess that is just basic speculation too, that games of services may be coming to an end. I think we are. I think we're going to see a shift in games as we go into the tail end of the it would probably be better described as the second half of the current generation of consoles. I imagine Xbox One X games will start seeing less games as services and more games as more single player experiences, longer experiences like that. And as PlayStation 5 is allegedly starting development, we'll see some more work towards that too. Clearly, Battlefront, though, will be a much larger reason why we stop seeing microtransactions in loot boxes, and thus we stop seeing games as services, because that's all those games ever were delivery devices for microtransactions and loot boxes. Next article we have Gematsu Etrian Odyssey X details hero classes and new NPCs and more. Again, information that probably isn't too useful. I'm not even sure if Etrian Odyssey X has been announced to come to the West. So I'm looking at screenshots of characters that look like I'd say they are the moe style of JRPG anime characters. Moe meaning cute, usually girls. Let's see what I want to do. Just this. Etrian Odyssey X is due for the 3DS in August 2nd in Japan. So yeah, it doesn't look like it's a bad dungeon crawler JRPG type game for the 3DS. Yeah, more evidence that there's probably a decent argument to be made to buy a new 3DS XL when it comes out, when you see one on sale, because even though we may be close to a year, maybe 2 years done with the 3DS, and then everything will be on the Switch, there's such a back catalog now, particularly for somebody like me who hasn't I haven't done anything that would as far as buying 3DS games, so I'm a completely fresh and blank slate there. See, this is the strategy that I was supposed to be doing this whole time. Next game we have on this is a game called Skat Stammtisch, SKATSTAMMTISCH, which is a weird name for a game. It's from a developer who's made about 5 other games that all seem to be based around some basic kinds of games. It's from a publisher who's published a lot more games. Let's see. I'm not ready to quite immediately dismiss this. They do have a trailer video. It's a card game. It's showing your standard cards. So this might just be a card game I've never heard of, or I may have just said some incredibly offensive phrase in some language. It doesn't look like poker. It may be poker, and just some form of poker that I've never seen before. But there's too many cards in your hand. You're playing against 3 other people. There seems to be a decent number of customizations, but all the menus are in a different language. Has an all-time player count of 2. Came out April 30th. I need a description better from the creator as far as what this game. With this game, you can enjoy a match of Skat on your PC. SKAT, which, like, whether you're new to the game or are you pro, test your mettle against intelligent CPUs in a game. It could be Go Fish for all I know. I don't. German and French playing cards. The languages are English and German. Here, at the beginning it says basic knowledge of the scat rules is required for the game. So I can't recommend this game to anybody because I don't literally know this game. Like, and apparently it's a German origin card game, so the only people I could recommend this game to is people who just happen to to know how to play the game already. And anytime you run into a card game, the problem is, why not just play this in Tabletop Simulator? It isn't that hard. So I kind of have to skip this. Inherently, the game is wrong for not teaching you the game and not making it understandable and learnable from the beginning. No tutorial. Like, you need a tutorial. I will say there's a ton of Mahjong games on Steam and just on mobile phone ports in general that do not ever bother to explain themselves. That is wrong too. There needs to be a tutorial and better explanations. But at the very least, no, I guess there's no difference there. If you make a game based on a pre-existing game, you have to explain the rules still. Every first-person shooter has to go through the same old tutorials. Every platformer has to go through the same things, just to make sure that people know what they're doing. Let's see, so it's this one, so it's this one, and then play that, and then kill that. Next game we have on Steam is called A Walk in the Woods. And it says A Walk in the Woods is a co-op multiplayer game where 4 players that must roam the dangerous forest and search for each other, avoiding terrifying creatures, and unite before the course is complete. It is mostly negative, with 25% of 27 users rating it positive. Came out May 1st. It says it's free-to-play adventure indie. So, and it's from a developer who's made nothing else, and it's free, and it's still being rated negative. Now, I think I can tell you a reason why people are not happy with this game before I scroll down. The reason I suspect is because there is a rather popular game called A Night in the Woods that has pretty much the same premise, as I understand it, and this, in name at least, seems like it is playing right up to that and just trying to confuse and violate trademarks, patents, copyrights type things. Trying to confuse the market, which would be a trademark violation. I don't think copyright comes into it in this instance. However, looking at these screenshots, even though they are suffering from dark screenshot syndrome of just really, really dark things, there's probably some asset flips going on here with some very big-headed children wandering around 3D. Nicely animated. I assume this is an asset flip type thing, but it still looks like it's combined together. Has an all-time peak of 32 players. So now let's scroll down to the negative reviews and see. Like, we're gonna filter out the 7 positive and look at the 20 negative. Like, what I want to do. Not recommended. First review, the design of the game is really nice. The idea of being lost in the forest and trying to find your friends really gained my interest. Having said that, after playing the game for about 30 minutes, I kind of got over it. Granted, the game was free, I still felt like it was a waste of time. Inherently, there is a good point there. It's like, it is a waste of time trying to find your friends who are lost anywhere. Lost in the woods, lost in a mall. Those aren't fun, interesting experiences. Those are wastes of time. Let's see. We have a not recommended for being laggy, glitchy, and doesn't work. We have a not recommended for where's the audio settings. We got a not recommended. I don't know what to say. It's not exhilarating. Winning is just simple. It's simple. Just run, find other people. That's it. It's literally a quick walk in the woods. The game absolutely bombs. Issues from the start, and it only got worse. So yes, this is an asset flip game, clearly, because if it wasn't an asset flip game, it would be more polished or perform, not laggy for people walking around a small woods. I don't know what you do though. Like, yeah, the thing is, being lost in the woods could be the first 5 to 30 minutes of an experience, but then there needs to be a secondary thing, secondary goal, or some kind of random item that spawns somewhere that you have to pick up, and then in the process of picking it up, somebody gets there's an opportunity to get lost in the woods again. That way you could have the setting of a woods and the concept of being lost in the woods as part of it, but there needs to be more. Just being lost in the woods doesn't make sense. Alright. Well, that took nearly 50 minutes to do this brawl to get 25 gold and a pack, which I suppose is 25 more gold than it would have been to just do a tavern brawl. But then, frankly, to just do a tavern brawl and get a victory does not take 50 minutes usually. Let's see if we get lucky, get any epics or legendaries. No, we get one rare, and that's it. Of course, that being said, since this is my Asian account, that may not have been too many extras anyways. Yes, only one extra in total, and everything else was just new cards. But these new cards, particularly for Witchwood expansion, are just not cards I would play. I really don't want to play them in Standard. I really don't want to play them in Wild. And let's see, that's 1, 2, we can mark off. So we may come back and do the rogue victories on the Asian account, but for the moment it makes all the sense in the world to move over to the European account and work our way down that direction. That's going to be it for this recording. Stay tuned if you're watching live. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. When you do subscribe to me, please click the notification bell. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening. Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, May 2nd. We are doing some more Hearthstone. Apparently the shop is closed, which I guess maybe it's down for maintenance. Meanwhile, we have this tavern brawl that's going to probably take us this entire episode. So we have win 2 games with Rogue Warrior, or win 3 games with Rogue Warrior for 60, or play 30 Paladin cards. I think what we would like to do is spin one of these. But if I do that, I'm probably going to get a 50. I suppose I'm going to do it anyways, though. Alright, well, Druid class cards versus Paladin class cards is good. That opens us up to either making a Druid or Paladin deck. We may have a problem here. If I can't be authorized because the shop is down, because Hearthstone is having trouble, I may not be able to play this Brawliseum. Which means probably Arena people wouldn't be able to play Arena right now either. Which, like, I don't know. Don't know what to do here. The only thing I guess I could try is let's exit out and just relaunch and see. Like, there's no notifications or anything about the servers being down. There should be something there if it was. Meanwhile, I'm going to watch the trailer for this game called Beacon that's on a PC Gamer article called Beacon's Beautiful New Trailer. Is all about kicking butt and taking body parts. There's a lot of hyped games that came out in the past year or so. Beacon kind of looks sort of like that game, and like several of those games, and they were super hyped up, particularly by PC Gamer. And over the past couple of years that I've been looking at PC Gamer, and certainly not just PC Gamer, but the mainstream video game media that I listen to, which might be just a flaw in what I'm listening to, and I'm trying to correct that. But these AA games, these single A games that they get hyped up and then they come out and then nobody plays them and nobody cares about them is a problem. Jim Sterling released a video which is starting to become less and less frequent for him. Side note, but he released a video talking about mid-tier, mid-shelf, mid-card games, the AA, what I call AA's and single A games, instead of AAA games, and how we need them and how they are the things that spurn creativity and make something. The problem is people just have been trained not to want to play those games. A certain problem certainly exists where AAA games have got the hyper lifelike graphics, and every indie developer that can't make a hyper realistic lifelike graphics has to then adapt a 8-bit, 16-bit retro pixel art style to not look bad. This game I'm looking at, Beacon, is a top-down shooter that I assume you just collect body parts of your enemies to improve yourself. But again, this is an example of a PC Gamer article that just doesn't need to exist because it's talking about a trailer for a game that doesn't seem to have a release date. It's probably being kickstarted or something right now. It's still in development. It's just not ready. Alright, this is not working. Apologies for people sitting on that. Alright. So Paladin and Druid cards, we're just going to play ranked play. Hand Druid, I suppose. And do it. So I can't do the Brawliseum on the European account for some reason. If that turns into a bigger issue, I guess I'll have to stream it off screen tomorrow or maybe on Friday. If I don't get it done at all, that would be very annoying to miss out on that free pack. Next article we have from Komatsu is Luminous Remastered has been delayed to June 26th. Luminous is a music-based game of some sort that I've heard people talk about, so I know it's pretty well critically loved. It'll be available for the PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. It's kind of a Tetris music type game, I think. What I'm looking at is something that looks like Tetris with a guitar background. I'm just going to end the turn. So, a delay is not a great thing, certainly, but it's also probably not a huge issue for a small title. I wish there weren't delays, but it also seems like a lot of games would have benefited from having delays instead of being buggy at launch. PC Gamer has an article called Pato Boxing. That's P-A-T-O box. It's not called boxing, I guess. It's P-A-T-O space B-O-X. It's a boxing game with a noir comic art style where you're a duck for some reason. So noir comic in the sense that it's black and white with thick ink outlines. I have been complaining in the past month or two with my realization that I really loved the Punch-Out series. I've been complaining that there hasn't been a good boxing game out there. This looks like this might be a good boxing game for PC. It puts you in a boxing match reminiscent of the original Punch-Out and teaches you the basics how to fight. Then has you lose and wake up in a 3D environment of long snaking corridors and prop-filled rooms. It's a clear statement of intent. Paddle Box isn't going to be just a Punch-Out clone, but instead use it as a framework to try out some strange ideas. Well, so are you walking through an area punching things? Or does it have you box a little bit and then that's kind of it? Well, here I'm looking at another scene and he's boxing a chef in front of a giant kettle. This looks crazy. It really does, but maybe crazy in a good way. So I guess this is called Hand Druid because you're always supposed to have a lot of cards in your hand until you're ready to win. Alright. So I've clicked over to the Steam link for this game. It came out May 15th, 2016. What? No, 2018. Yeah, March 15th, 2018. And it has only 4 user reviews and an all-time peak of 8 people playing it. and it's $14.99. And I think that's the problem. Why nobody played it. It has like 16 positive reviews, which you kind of would believe are some of which are at least legitimate. And I'm gonna wishlist this game, but I honestly don't think you can pay that much for a game that is such a dice roll. And that's what this is a very big dice roll on, is it gonna go off the rails after an hour, or is it going to continue to do interesting, weird elements. Let's see. Oops, I should have attacked. I really should have attacked there. So yeah, I can't recommend a paddle box until I play it for myself. Next game we have on Steam is called Venture Arctic. Came out August 3rd, 2007. So why is it just now on Steam? It has like no reviews. But it's from the publisher and developer of Tooth and Tail. So this is probably Pocket Watch Games. It's probably putting out its old games. In fact, it even says that. The second entry in the Pocket Watch Games back catalog, Venture Arctic, is the interactive nature documentary. So you would have to have some real nostalgia, I suppose, for this game to pay the $1.99 that they want you to. There's also Venture Africa, which I imagine is their first back catalog re-release. The weird thing here, of course, is that I don't think Tooth and Tail is quite a good enough game to bring in people to buying their old games. Nor do I think Monaco What's Yours Is Mine, which they also published. So while Pocket Watch Games may be moving in the right direction to making some big AA hits, trying to make a few bucks on some older things that they did originally isn't going to work. I don't think I have any more cards that needed. Well, this would have benefited from a bunch of cards. In the turn. Disgaea 1 has a debut trailer from Gamatsu. So with this is Disgaea 1 complete, which I think may also be the remaster. Might also be under the name Disgaea Refine, or maybe that's a different version of the game. It's, I believe, coming out for PS4 and Switch in Japan, and in the fall it's coming out for North America and Europe, and it's coming out July 26th in Japan. I thought it was coming to PC, however, also, and I'm not seeing any mention of that in this article. It's also debatable whether it's the right move to put a game like this. Let's see, can we do anything? We could do this, or we could power up. Let's just do this. Well, I've probably lost. Oops. Should have played more cards. That's all I'm really trying to do right now. Let's see. Tech Raptor has an article. Chris Avallone talks about departure from Obsidian Entertainment. The veteran designer and writer of defunct Black Isle Studios and former CCO of Obsidian Entertainment was involved in the development of Fallout 2, Planescape Tournament, Star Wars Knights, The Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, Neverwinter Nights 2, Alpha Protocol, FTL Advanced Edition, Prey, and Divinity Original Sin. Was that the original Prey or the remake of Prey? Probably the original Prey. Apparently he went to a forum called RPG Codex that apparently, according to Tech Raptor, is controversial. I don't know why RPG Codex is controversial. Let's see. Quote here is, I didn't get anything when I left Obsidian. There were no share payouts, no equity, and this was in addition to other logistical problems around the departure. The sudden cancellation of my health insurance, problems with my 401k, errors in Obsidian's accounting, and several existing independent contracts they refused to uphold. Ah, yes, this is one of those guys then. Seems to be pretty common in the video game world, and probably in jobs in general in the United States, for things to go wrong, and people canceling healthcare, you know, messing with your 401k, which they shouldn't be able to do at all, because that's usually through Fidelity or some other investment group. So why anybody could mess with that, I don't know. Problems in accounting sounds pretty typical. And like all of this sounds like they treated them pretty bad. Let's see. The quote continues in the next category. The company involvement silence worried me more, however, as it meant that if anything illegal happened with any of these companies, this could include serious charges like accounting issues, silence on harassment issues with regards to employees, perjury related to company documents and payments. I couldn't speak about the issue, and even if I felt strongly against what was being revealed, that doesn't quite make sense, that paragraph, as far as why couldn't he speak out? Was he under some kind of non-disclosure agreement or something else? And then the next paragraph says, well, all this is good for Obsidian's upper management and is what sometimes is considered good business. I did feel it showed a lack of ethics. Like, this feels like a lot of quote mining by Tech Raptor's part. This does not feel like 3 paragraphs that are actually separated out with no question in between or other statements happening. Like, this does not feel like but maybe he's just a really, really bad writer. But I mean, wow. If you're that bad of a writer that you wrote those 5 paragraphs in that order with no other details and no questions in between, that is probably good grounds to explain why you were fired. And frankly, in the whole Channel Awesome thing, not to get on a side note, that there's a lot of chance that there's more chance than you probably realize that a lot of the complaints in that 70-page document are petty, and some of them are not completely true. Like, because frankly, it's kind of ridiculous as so many facts were stated, that some of them aren't stretched, skewed, and downright lied. And there's a lot of people who worked at Channel Awesome who are also kind of saying, yeah, the people that made that document are also known liars, and they benefit greatly from putting out this document. So, I mean, I'm still think Channel Awesome is dead. I still think Channel Awesome is a terrible place to work with, since you never were really working for them. There was a lot of clearly bad management going on, and just dumb actions that were being taken. But then again, I think some of it could be totally wrong. Like, I've heard people say that the HR lady that complained that she worked for 2 years and never took a day off and got fired the day after she had surgery is a known liar. So maybe none of that actually happened, or maybe that is a completely different completely different thing. If you take it from that perspective, you could almost start to believe the rebuttal, the second rebuttal that Channel Awesome put out there. But for the most part, I'm getting off on a tangent just to mention this guy, Chris Avallone, probably had a bad breakup with their employee. It seems like that happens a lot, and it is clearly better PR for companies to bend over backwards to not have bad breakups with employees. And one of the best ways you can not have a bad breakup with an employee is to let them go earlier than later. Like, once they're entrenched in, once they have a long list of grievances, is not the time to fire an employee. The time to fire an employee is like, okay, we can see this is going bad, let's break it up now. That is also true in dating. Like, you don't want to break up with somebody after you've married them and been married for 25 years. You want to break up with them after you have like that one giant fight and you go on when you were on a vacation together or something. Like, when you really evaluate the flaws and the problems there, and you go, oh, this is just going to get worse and worse. But so often people ignore the flaws in that first couple of honeymoon years of dating somebody, and they think, oh, they'll get better when they're married. Oh, they'll get better when they get a promotion. Oh, things will get better when we have a kid. And like, you just keep investing yourself into this bad relationship that's was doomed from the start. I've got to play these cards. That's really all I'm doing right now. On the other hand, for video game companies, it kind of is just typical to lose your job after a game anyways. So you don't even, that industry has it set up in such a poor way where there's no job security anyways. And you could have finished a project and let go a whole group of people based on the least no cause really at all, just lay people off and not even have to deal with somebody who's going to cause big trouble. And it's hard for me to really back that guy, because so many people now that they come out and speak out for that they're working in the video game industry have proven themselves to be such annoying, whining snowflakes that it's like, how can I really give any credibility to people? And they've kind of lost it, and it's really a poison pill for the entire video game creating industry. It's like, I can't really trust anything any video game creator works, because on the face of it, I think that there is a very high chance that they are just a bunch of wimpy complainers that will never be happy. Anyways, moving on. That's kind of a rant that has no basis in any facts or anything. It's just my own perspective on the way things have gone. As somebody who has worked in IT, one of the big surprises for a lot of people that wanted to get into IT, including myself, is nobody in IT is ever happy with working in IT, because it turns out most IT jobs turn into dealing with the customers and being a help desk support technician in some sort. And the last thing pretty much anybody who was working in IT or working to work in IT wanted to ever do was deal with people. And so like, you get into IT because you love computers, you love programming, you love fixing those problems, and then the management in general puts you in some help desk tech support thing where you're talking to somebody who doesn't know anything about computers, and you're resetting the passwords for them all day. And so it's never the job you want until you get into some heavy specialized sections, and you probably don't start off in those heavily specialized positions. You probably start off doing some kind of customer support. And so often your dream job is not what you want it to be. Moving on, there's a game called Isoland on Steam. The objective of this game is to explore a small island in the Atlantic Ocean and uncover secrets. It says indie adventure. Alright, let's look at this. It has a kind of pencil sketch art style. It's not something I'd inherently call bad, but it also isn't something that I'd inherently call good. I would call it unique to be nice. Like, there's definitely some intentional proportions of people, like giant-headed humans that are out there, and weird Dutch angles on everything, lack of understanding of perspective. So I would probably say this creator is either intentionally breaking basic rules of drawing, or doesn't understand basic rules of drawing, like perspective and scale, which probably the two most basic rules of drawing. The developer also released Isoland 2 Ashes of Time, and you kind of have to immediately say no to a game like that. It's 99 cents with a bundle for $3.18 to get the second one. There's 2 positive reviews, not in my language. They're both in Japanese. I would almost certainly classify this as mostly a point-and-click adventure game. I guess the idea is it's Isoland in the sense that it's supposed to be island with an O in the middle. When I hear Isoland, I'm thinking of the International Standard Organization, And then a land based around that. That's certainly not what it is. Yeah, it's kind of just a adventure thing. Now there is a problem here that it looks like some of these, well, it does seem like it's in English, but it also seems like some of these text things might have been in other languages, like Japanese first. I don't know if I can recommend this game though. For the problem, the main issue with this game is that Isoland 2 Ashes of Time is out at the exact same time, and no, I want to deal 3 damage to a minion, and that just doesn't seem right. That's a bad concept to flood the market, to counterproduct, to counter advertise against your own game. Like Isoland 2 is $2.99, and it has a bunch of Japanese people saying yay to it. I don't know. I just don't know about this. There's also an Isoland Premium Edition for $3, which is a bundle of the two. Okay. I don't know. I think I'm gonna wishlist this game and see if it comes out cheaper. Wishlist the first and second one. But this one is a game that is just barely making it to the wishlist because it is violating a major rule of don't flood the market with sequels or different versions of your game. I would assume this is probably them thinking that they're catching up, but it's not a good move. Not a good move at all. Next game we have on Steam is called Blitzfreak. It's a action VR game. What are you doing here? Seems like you draw lines as to where you're flying to get to certain points to pick up some 3D assets to fight each other. Let's see, it's the only game from this developer for $2.99. Again, I feel like $2.99 is more expensive than what you would. It's less expensive than what you would really pay for a Steam VR game. Let's see. It's got a nice maybe menu to it and a nice like thumbnail image, but then when you actually get in the game, it just doesn't look good at all. All-time peak of 3 people. It says it's rated for teen, early access, requires VR. No product reviews. And yes, Blitzfreak again just does not look visually appealing, and I don't think it's going to get anybody into it. The idea of playing a multiplayer game, online multiplayer game in VR is insane. We are nowhere near that point where people could adapt that much. Apparently I screwed up there. I thought I would have summoned more of those. I think probably naming your game Blitz is wrong. For any really old people, they may have a problem with using the phrase Blitz from the Blitzkrieg. I think using Freak is probably alright, but you've really got to earn it. This is really just a very poorly chosen generic random name for a game. Moving on, we have a Gematsu article. The Senran Kagura Burst Renewal PS4 demo is out now in Japan. Again, that's probably not worth mentioning, but it is due out for PS4 and PC in North America and Europe this fall. So, Senran Kagura Burst Renewal is coming to the West, which we almost certainly already knew that. Because Senran Kagura in particular is pretty good about going everywhere and getting a decent amount of sales for its niche market of people who want to play ninja girl games. Next game we have is a VR game that caught my attention and looked like something that might actually attract a few people. It's called Homestar VR. It is $9.99 with no discount. Came out May 1st. And it's an indie casual simulation education game in the sense that I believe what it is you can look at the stars at a specific point, kind of like a planetarium. The beginning lets you, I think, pick specific spots where you would like to view from on the map, and then as you move around and look, the constellations actually fill in the line, so you're seeing like Caprica and all of those constellations. And there also are some interesting just sit and look at them. Now, $9.99 is probably a little bit expensive for it. It says it reproduces an accurate scanning based on NASA data. So, for any of the people that don't trust NASA's data, they're going to have a problem with that. But I doubt very many of those people would want to play a planetarium type game on VR. You'd still do better at least once in your life going to a planetarium. I think it's an experience to have at least once in your life. But if you were teaching astrophysics, I suppose, is that it? Is that what this would be? If you're teaching the stars for a longer term, having kids put on a VR system at a certain age and looking it's certainly something. If a school bought a VR system, I would totally say get this Homestar VR app and use it for education, because you would just have so few educational apps anyways. It would make sense. Alright. I want a 10/10 copy, I guess, of this. And then killed this one, and this one, and then that one, and this one, and this one, and I've lost in the join. Next game we have on Steam is called Journey of Life. Journey of Life is a survivor game set in an exotic island somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. Overburdened with everyday responsibilities, you decide to go live in nature and build your own society. Interesting idea, but this is almost certainly just an asset flip game, survival game. Like how fun can a game really be if all you're doing is really surviving on an island, and you don't throw in the monsters, you don't throw in the zombies, you don't throw in some kind of thing. It doesn't have to be a fictional creature. I mean, you could live on an island and it could be full of alligators and panthers and sharks in the water. There could be just some natural things. temperature, sickness, mosquitoes. This island apparently has an active volcano on it. This is really just an asset flip of an island, though, with nothing on it. I can guarantee you that's all this is an early access concept that will never be finished. Let's see. Let's see. We have an early access review, not recommended. I received this key for free. Too long period, and then I skipped to the too long didn't read part. I wouldn't say this is a bad game, but it definitely is a game too early for release. Only buy if you want to support the development. Do not expect at this point in time. Let's see, how much is this? $24.99. And that is the one review right now. Is Don't Expect Fun. Came out April 15th, 2018. Which, it's been a while. I mean, and nobody else has bought it or reviewed it. And I think it's pretty obvious why nobody else has bought it or reviewed it, is because people know now. Like, we've fallen for this trick so many times where somebody just steals or buys an island asset from a Unity Unreal store and puts it out as a game. Like, I'm seeing no animals, no creatures, no UI menu bars. I'm not seeing anything. So I assume you're probably just a floating camera that you never see that walks around an area. And frankly, this island looks really good. It would be great if this was the Riven remake and this is what the island looks like. Okay, now about 7th screenshot down, I see some very basic, ugly looking menus. I see in one of the menus a skill tree of some sort and some basic ugly menus. I don't even see anything you've built. So is it a survival game where you don't even build a hut, a structure? That's not very realistic as far as survival. The Forest had a bunch of building mechanics and it still didn't really last long enough to explain, to justify being purchased by the time it was out of early access. So I'm gonna skip the Journey of Life. Unless they put a ton of work into it, that's not gonna be a good game, I would guess. Next game we have on Steam is called Bitcoin Tycoon Mining Simulation Game, and normally I wouldn't even cover a game like this because anything with Bitcoin has a tendency to not be a real game at all. It tends to just be built around a meme selling things. However, this game actually does look like it is a fully fledged game. You're really going through menus and buying different types of PC. You're placing different furnitures, a la something like The Sims, in a room. You're really trying to Bitcoin mine, or at least go through the steps in a simulation of what building a actual Bitcoin mining facility is. I doubt the game actually is Bitcoin mining, and if it is, I doubt it's going to be Bitcoin mining to give you any of the Bitcoins. And that is always the fear, that any of these games could be a little bit shady and have all kinds of monetization things in them. Came out May 2nd. It's 20% off for $7.99. If you like simulations, if you like something that looks like it even has a little bit of story and conversations and people talking to each other, if you like The Sims, there's little bits here that seem like it could look good. But it is early access and it's $7.99. I feel like you probably at best would want to keep your eye on this. If you're a YouTuber that needs a Bitcoin meme game, this is probably the one to do. I could see a lot of people intentionally playing this game because it would get some search engine optimization to around the phrase Bitcoin. But I'm just gonna see if this one catches on and people are talking about it in a year. So I'm not gonna wishlist it or follow it or anything. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. OpenCritic has an article that GameVice has filed a complaint against the US officials about Switch controllers. I thought they had already settled this. There is this game called GameVice, the controller, that you put a special tablet, like an Android tablet, into the middle. And frankly, it looks somewhat similar in concept. In fact, arguably, I would say it looks better than the way the Switch looks. And I thought they were already, let's see what the article says. Late last year, a mobile hardware manufacturer called GameVice filed a lawsuit against Nintendo claiming that the portable Switch controllers infringed on the patented WikiPad designs. WikiPad is the name of the device. While the suit was ultimately withdrawn, GameVice is back at it again, this time filing a complaint with the U.S. International Trade Commission for the same reasons. At this point, the legal process is in limbo, waiting for an administrative law judge to be assigned and schedule an evidentiary hearing. Okay, so they're back at it. I don't know why they withdrew it, probably because they saw that it wasn't going to go in the way that they had hoped. And so now they're trying again. But on the truth of this, on the face of this, if I was to put in a personal opinion, GameVice and the WikiPad is not a fake product. This is not a patent troll. This is somebody who made an actual tablet that didn't sell well and didn't become super popular, which is very possible to do if you're not, Nintendo, Microsoft, or Sony. But they made a product. This product's been for sale, and the Nintendo Switch does look somewhat similar to it. Probably not similar enough for them to be guaranteed a victory, but I can see them being upset and trying to get some kind of settlement. That's just how the law works in the United States, sadly, is that even if you haven't done anything wrong, which arguably Nintendo hasn't, and arguably the patents that they're trying to claim they have are invalid because the Game Gear may have had those patents and they already expired them. Because the Game Gear looks also a lot like the WikiPad, and there's been plenty of handheld devices that look similar. So I imagine the WikiPad's patent specifically builds around the idea of controllers that can become detached from the screen element, which I assume is a new thing. I don't recall any products before the Switch doing that or the WikiPad doing it. So, yeah, a lot of people would want to immediately say that the GameVice is just acting unethically and suing, but they also may have a legitimate patent that was approved. Maybe the patent shouldn't have been approved. That's often how all of this goes down to, is that the patent office in the United States just approves things without doing any work. It's a little interesting that this article also comes from OpenCritic, because I do follow OpenCritic on Twitter, but they don't put out a lot of articles. I mean, that's not really what they do. They're really more just an aggregator, like Metacritic, but putting less focus directly on the top sites like IGN and possibly Giant Bomb too. Hey, I got a victory. Let's see, we already talked about that. Made it to rank 24. And that was all the Druid class cards. And so where are we now? So I need to play Paladin class cards, but I could do that on Friday. And ideally, we've got this Tavern Brawl we need to do. And then, because the shop's not working, we also need to do the Americas account. But we've also been going about 50 minutes, and I need to get better about breaking up episodes around the 45-minute, 50-minute mark, because I'm really tired of going back and looking at footage and having one day of recordings airing and it being an hour long, and then the next day of recordings airing and it being 3 hours long, because I've just failed to break them up properly here. So that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. When you subscribe, please click that notification bell. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a bunch of links down below in the description box. And if you want to support me even further, gift me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening. Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, May 2nd. We need to get the Tavern Brawl done, which is a Brawliseum, and play some Paladin cards. We couldn't do this last recording because the store was down, so that kind of sucked. So I need to make a Paladin deck and fill it with Paladin cards, which I don't think is going to be too incredibly hard to do. Just have to pick what I want and when I want it. A couple power-ups. Take this, take this, take this. What's this one do? Whenever you restore health, double the attack of a minion. Let's see. Do I really need 2 weapons? I'll take this. Take that one. Do I really think I'll win by doubling an attack? Probably not. Take that weapon. Take those. Take that. 3 more cards in the Paladin class that I can live with. Take that. Take that secret. And that's 30. 30 pretty good cards for Paladin cards. Probably not a great deck, but I mean, I wasn't really expecting to win anyways. Frankly, it took me an hour to do this Tavern Brawl on the Asian account, trying to win. Probably would be more efficient just to go ahead and try and lose. You know, maybe the easiest thing to do here is just concede, and then take your pack and move on. Because you're probably not going to get that far. At least I'm not going to get that far. First article we have is a Gametsu article. The Family Card Games SP has been announced for Switch. Arc System Works Family Series is coming to the Switch. It'll come May 10th in Japan on the eShop for 500 yen, which that's about 50 cents. So don't expect a lot, I suppose. It looks like card games with Japanese anime avatars. Let's see. It seems like there were some Game Boy games that came out back in the day when the original Game Boy was out that were similar. It was just like family games, family this, family that, family that, or they weren't called family, but they would basically, one company was definitely trying to be the one name you knew when you wanted to play a game on the Game Boy that wasn't really a video game. And see, they have a complete list here. For the 3DS, there's been a family beach volleyball, family bowling, family card games, family golf, family switch, family kart, family ping pong, family tennis. Very basic games. Will this come to the West? There's a decent chance no. I don't think they'd spend the time and the money to translate it for such a basic thing. Which is weird, because then the Switch probably doesn't and won't have support for any kind of person that wanted to just play, say, Go Fish. Like, you would think that would be a pretty easy game to play, particularly between a family that had 2 Switches, just local multiplayer. But I bet there's nothing there. Inherently, that's the problem with Switch anyways, is that there's not enough games, not enough single A games, not enough double A games, and just barely enough AAA games, with a lot of major AAA games not coming to the Switch that are on the Xbox and the PlayStation. In a weird move, this is a rock, paper, shotgun article, but it's a very weird move. Steam has added native Steam Input, which I assume is a dev programming thing, has added native support for the Switch Pro controller, which is a Bluetooth controller, and frankly, the Switch Pro controller isn't a bad controller to get. Like, if you're fighting between a PS4 controller, an Xbox One controller, and the Switch Pro controller, you might be better off getting the Switch Pro controller a little bit cheaper, and it might fit smaller hands a little bit better. It looks exactly like an Xbox One controller, except for maybe the buttons are in different places, but you could assumably remap those. Like, the article writer here says they play with an Xbox One controller. I play with a plugged-in Xbox One controller. Certainly people who are running emulators and playing well, probably not Switch, but Wii and Wii U games, the Dolphin emulator, I suppose, would probably want to play with that too. Switch Pro controller goes around for £55 in the UK or $70 in the United States, making it one of the most expensive controllers out there, but it does at least have the advantage of Nintendo build quality. There have been some complaints certainly about Xbox One controllers and even the Xbox One Elite controllers not being good enough as far as quality. Like that they break after a year. That's been sort of my experience with Xbox 360 controllers, is 1, maybe 2 years of hard playing and then they're broken. So maybe the Nintendo controller, for being as expensive as it is, I did not realize it was $70. Maybe it would last a little bit better. I suppose if I was going to get a controller for a kid that was playing on the Switch, the Pro controller would be a good move. Let's see. Guess there's not too much more to say about that. If you have a Switch Pro controller, we may see that price drop down, particularly if they, for some crazy reason, decided they had to make a Switch 2 to address the easy hackability of the Switch 1. The Pro controller might go down in price then if they lost compatibility, but I doubt that would happen. So moving forward, there's a Hearthstone announcement that says Noble Garden is coming. It says, grab a basket and prepare your finest brushes because Noble Garden is coming next week. Noble Garden is a festival where we gather to celebrate the joys of friendship by inexplicably dyeing eggs in bright colors and hanging out with rabbits. It's going to be excellent. So Easter? Like, why are they doing an Easter themed event? One, that's going to alienate all the non-Christian people on the planet. And two, it's going to alienate the Christian people for not being on Easter. The tavern will be decked out in Noble Garden's best, and Hearthstone heroes will greet each other with festive emotes, and we'll have a celebratory tavern brawl to allow us to explain. If you log in while celebrating Noble Garden, you'll receive a golden egg napper and a golden Devasaur egg on us. Everybody get in here, it says. Like, let's see, they're celebrating Noble Garden from May 9th through May 13th while the Everybody Get In Here Tavern Brawl lasts, so don't miss it. So this just feels like they totally missed Easter. And they, like, is this the reason Ben Bro no longer works for Hearthstone? Is he was either fired / frustrated with them not even making the date for Easter? This seems so dumb. Like, it seems dumb that it was authorized in the first place to do an Easter style advertisement in Hearthstone, because you wouldn't want to do that. You would just want to stay away from anything religious whatsoever, particularly the Christian religious holiday in which their Savior is executed and resurrected, their most important holiday whatsoever. It's just not something you want to put your cutie little spin on. And you certainly don't want to do it on the wrong day. Like, you can't have eggs and bunnies together at all. Like, the only reason that it doesn't make sense in Easter that eggs and bunnies and egg exist in the first place, because I think bunnies are mammals and thus they don't lay eggs, and chicken eggs are for chickens, not bunnies. So that, first of all, never made any sense. Second of all, it definitely doesn't make sense. Man, I don't see how anybody could have thought this was a good idea at all. I would have been a lot kinder to it if they had done it on Easter. Anyways, moving on. Gamasutra has an article. Nintendo's new president wants to turn mobile into a $9 million business. That's a number he picked up right out of his uh, but it's but basically what he said is, in an exaggeration, he wants it to be 100 billion yen business, which translates to 910 million US dollars. But yeah, that's clearly just a number he picked up. So we'll see more Nintendo games on cell phones, but the question eventually will come down: will any of them actually succeed? Because even like the most successful one, which would be Pokemon Go, is waning in popularity, and I'm not sure it's ever made any money. And the Super Mario Go or Super Mario Run game, pretty big failure. The Animal Park, Animal Planet, Animal Crossing, that's the name of the game. The mobile Animal Crossing's not blowing anybody out of the water or being super successful either. And there's certainly a lot of danger, because while we would love Nintendo to come into the mobile market and create really, really good quality games, there is a high chance they're going to just go into the mobile market and create even worse quality games than what are already there. This is a mistake. Yeah, I guess there's really not too much to say, though. We still need the new president to actually take over for Nintendo and actually implement something before we can have something to really comment on. Game of Citra has another article. Starting in June, Xbox Live rewards will transition to Microsoft rewards. I don't believe this is much of a difference. It's just that they have decided to brand everything and merge everything. They already had like 2 reward systems, and so the idea was to just merge the 2 products. Let's see. I don't even think I can log into my Microsoft account. I lost the password. So I probably have a decent amount of stuff that I'm losing just because I can't log in. So we can do this. And we can do this. And get a 1010. PC Gamer has an article. Disgaea 5 complete demos revoked. Release may be delayed. Updated. The May 7 release date that was announced last month has been pulled from Steam. Update. NIS America has acknowledged on Twitter that there is an issue with the status of the demo. There's still no word on the removal of the release date or the pre-purchase option, however. The quote here is, "We are aware of the status of the Disgaea 5 complete demo on PC, and we will have additional information shortly. Thank you for your understanding and patience." So the thing I guess that might happen here is that maybe Steam pulled it for some reason, or maybe they accidentally pulled it for some reason, or they intentionally pulled it for some reason. Not really much of a news story about the game. It's much more of a news story, I would say, about the demo and just some weirdness. So I imagine by this time next week we'll have some confirmation that either the delay, I mean, why would you revoke the demo though if you're just gonna delay the release? leave the demo up. The only reason you would revoke and remove the demo is because there's something actually in the demo that's wrong. It's either buggy, it's got some instance that of offensiveness that Steam doesn't like. That could be it. It might, I don't know. Like, I don't know what you could do. Maybe there's a dirty joke in there or an Easter egg somebody slipped in there that people didn't know about. Maybe it's the Japanese side of NIS, their publisher being upset about something and demanding it be pulled. That would certainly be something that happens all the time when dealing with Japanese companies as a Western publisher, is that you're dealing with crazy, unrealistic demands, and you're just kowtowing and keeping them happy. Otherwise, they just leave and never publish in the West anyways. Gamasutra has an article, Unity rolls out new major features in update 2018.1. Let's see. Scriptable render pipeline, which nobody knows what that is. 2 render pipelines included are the high definition render pipeline for devs, wanting to cripple a AAA experience, and the lightweight render pipeline for those who don't need the ultra high-end graphics, offering a combination of looks and speed ideal for mobile. A C# job system enables the devs to take advantage of multi-core processors currently available. Yep. When I was in programming classes, this probably dates me, we never programmed towards any kind of compiler that to my knowledge did any kind of optimization to multi-core processing. There was frankly no engine that we were programming on. If we were the engine, we were creating the engine, and so unless we were trying to program that way, which I don't think there would have been a way to do it, it just wasn't going to happen. So, yeah, this article interesting to people who do Unity and about nobody else. Hearthstone is made in Unity, however, so if we could see Hearthstone be less buggy and run better, that would be great. However, I would imagine the reasons that Hearthstone is buggy and running a little slow probably has nothing to do with Unity and just has to do with them turning around more cards and not putting enough time to just quality test some of their updates. PC Gamer has an article, what's it like making a living for designing Twitch emotes? The quote is, never settle for less than minimum wage, says illustrator Allison Henderson. And then it shows a picture of a cute cartoon girl with a dog, which I assume is, it says art by Allison Henderson. And yeah, it seems like that's what she does, is a very specific cutesy animation style. So she makes these emotes, but then how do you get the emotes into Twitch? Maybe, I guess you can make your own emotes on your own channel. The first emotes she sold were priced at $15 each, which is a premium far more suited for a side hustle than a breadwinning concern. But soon enough she stopped shortchanging herself and upped the cost to $40, $50, and finally $65. You might think that's an awful lot to charge for a very small drawing, but my rate is based on careful consideration of time spent, commercial value, and demand. And apparently she's in high demand. But to be fair, yes, you can spend a lot more than $65 worth of time making emotes. Let's see, Twitch icons appear 28 by 28 pixel frame. So I imagine some of these are not emotes as much as they are icons that people are buying to use as their own and to look really nice instead of the standard people stealing things online. I imagine also she's twitching herself, animating these things, and that is pretty popular to watch people animate characters, and so she has the level of skill, and she's found a way to monetize it in a world where YouTube has totally ruined the chances of any artist making any kind of animation or making any kind of money on that. This is an interesting idea. Certainly not a career path that many can take. It's something you certainly could do for fun, though. If you're an artist, if you're drawing, if you want to draw every day, streaming yourself drawing, great idea. Getting some feedback and having other people put even a small bit of critical review on your art probably is pretty helpful. At the very least, it would teach you to learn how to ignore illegitimate criticism and listen to legitimate criticism, which is definitely a good thing to learn. But I don't see anything in this article that really says she's putting the emotes in Twitch. Like, I know you can get emotes and you can add emotes to your channel, but let's see. This paragraph says, outside of a few basic rules laid out by the top brass, no profanity, no copyright infringement, and maximum of 2 kappa derivatives, those channel exclusive emotes can be pretty much anything, and that's opened up a new hyper niche market for artists. To be fair, I don't think I would particularly want any of this artist's emotes, though. I just don't like what I see. It's too cutesy. It's too much of an artistic style that doesn't really interest me. But I could certainly see a lot of other people disagreeing with that. It's a matter of taste. Moving on, we have a game on Steam called VR Game Brick of War. Came out May 2nd. Let's see. It's a VR game where you have dual guns and monsters are coming towards you. Cutesy, like monsters made out of, looks like jelly because they're falling into piles of like jello cubes. Then apparently it gets more and more built around being crazy fast paced and 360 as far as how many angles the enemies can come after you, which that isn't going to work in a VR game for me. If I have to turn my neck more than 90 degrees, I would say that is too much spinning around. It's $3 even. You don't see a lot of $3 even games. It's usually $2.99 on Steam. Nobody's reviewed this, and I can certainly see why. It's the exact same concept over and over again. There is a giant Donkey Kong ripoff gorilla in one of the screenshots. That's probably a final boss. But yeah, there's nothing here. This is just asset flips into a VR game to charge $3, which is, again, pretty cheap. Let's see, restore 3 health. Can I restore 3 health? I can do this to restore 3 health. And then I can play this. And I can do this. What? What just happened? Why did it take 4 health away from me? This game is so buggy right now. I'm not even kidding. It just took 4 health away from me. For no reason. There's no card on the field that says things that heal me now. This is the Arachnite Soul Priest is the only card that even does that. And it's not on the field. I've been running into a lot of this just bugginess. This is infuriating because on top of having to deal with all the BS of Hearthstone, playing the game and it not literally following the rules is unacceptable. Let's see. Whenever your hero attacks, restore 2 health. Wait a minute. When was it 2 health? I thought it was always 4 health. Maybe I don't remember things. Maybe I'm ranting about something that's been that way the whole time. Well, apologies if I am, I suppose. I'm just frustrated with this game, as anyone can probably tell. Heal +1. Oh, no. Oh, no. Next game we have on Steam is called Miasma, the Devil Stone. Let's see. It's from a developer who has made a couple other games that they released a few years back. So it looks like it's a real developer. It says it's an adventure game. It's the second Jonathan Hunt adventure, sequel to the award-winning FMV title Yoomjack's Ring. Yoomjack's Ring? Yoomurjak. The agile New York journalist embarks on a new investigation after a curious meteorite. This looks like a real adventure game. Is it FMV? Yes, it is. It doesn't look like it's a terrible FMV game, and I love to play a decent FMV game, so I'm gonna put it on my wish list. All-time peak of 6 people, $9.99. I think that's alright. No reviews. So then I want to go back and look at this developer and see their previous releases. Let's see. Professor Hunt embarks on a new adventure from a journey from London. Is this FMV? This one isn't FMV. So there's a Jack Hunt and a Professor Hunt. And this other game called Agon is not FMV. And so maybe what it is they had Professor Hunt as the father and then Jack Hunt as the journalist. Or maybe they just name every character Hunt for no reason. I'm willing to wishlist all of these games and try some of them and keep an eye on them. Now the thing with wishlisting games is I'm still going to look at them if they ever go on sale, and only if they go on sale. So it's not really to the point where I would accidentally purchase a game that I really didn't mean to purchase. or that turned out to be very, very not worth the money. I suppose if I got my backlog of Steam games so complete, I'd played relatively spotlighted or played 600 of the games on my 800 backlog, and I was just scraping the bottom of the barrel at that point. And then I might buy something on my wish list in accident, but I don't think that is going to happen, so that's not a big concern. The much bigger concern is getting more content made, and it's getting harder and harder to make content as Hearthstone is taking longer and longer to do things. Giving me Brawliseums, for instance, makes it really, really hard to get things done. Next game we have on Steam is called Boomite, B-O-M-I-G-H-T. Let's see, it's the only game from this developer for 99 cents. It looks like a last year video game programmer project. There's just terrible animation for a platforming game. Basic, ugly, basic, ugly 3D models and sprites. This guy's gonna win, clearly. Looks like the controls are pretty bad too on this. There's literally nothing in the trailer that they're showing that sells it in a good way. Let's see, there's a recommended review that says, the art design is extremely random and slapdash. The music gets repetitive and annoying. The platforming is surprisingly not terrible and the controls are responsive. Not the worst thing I've paid for $1. And that's a recommended? You said more negative things in your review than you said positive. Like, that's not a trustworthy review. Like, not at all. Gamma Sutra has an article called Analyst: How Education Edge and Even Degree Levels Can Affect Video Game Spending. I could certainly understand how your education level would affect the amount you could spend on anything. I could understand how your age would affect the amount of time you could spend on games that you're spending on. So if you can't finish games because you're, say, working a job, a full-time job versus going to a part-time job or going to school, that's a different amount of time and different amount of focus. Although, who knows, depending on what kind of school you go to, you may have so much homework you don't have time for games either. Personally, I never did any of the homework and didn't have a lot to begin with, so I would have way more free time to play games than most kids. And degree level, certainly, again, degree level equals, hopefully equals you're getting paid more if you're employed, and degree level would also change based on your age. You could be working towards a college degree, but you might only be 18 years old. So I bet I get 25 gold and a pack. And no, I got 25 dust, which is better than 25 gold. Again, probably more efficient just to have conceded 3 games. Like, I wasn't going to get anywhere on any of those. Maybe I can find something. And this card pack is not going to give me anything but 1 rare card for Witchwood cards. Which, since this is my European account, still a decent chance that only one of the cards was duplicate anyways. Same thing happened on my Asian account. Everything else was new. So, we got that. Let's mark off everything new. By not opening 50 packs of the new expansion, I certainly didn't get a lot of Witchwood cards, but that certainly was the right move. So everything is done here, except for maybe the Monster Hunt, but I mean, I don't care about that on the European. See, you can't even pick a character, so there's no reason to. I'm in the middle of a Monster Hunt that I've totally forgotten about over on this. 1,200 gold, where we'll be set to probably open 50 packs by the next expansion too. Let's move over to the Americans account. So So the graph here says gaming by education level, percentage of applicants with given degree of gaming experience. So what is this experience? Gaming expenses. So they're asking people, like, what is your gaming expenses? Do you have gaming expenses? And if you're in medical school, if you're a doctor, then the percentage is low. If you're a Master of Arts or a Doctor of Medicine, an MD. Interesting, a Master of Arts has a little bit less time than a Doctor of Medicine does. Let's see, I guess we're going to play Warlock Tavern Brawl on this one. So we need just Warlock with a bunch of demons. Let's see. Demons. 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 Defile. Like, on my main account, I probably could make a decent demon deck. I do have almost everything, so Hellfire. We'll take that, take those two, take that. Take that, take that, take that. I still have to make a standard deck, I suppose. So that kind of sucks. Because I could go crazier if I had something a little bit better. Play that. Yeah, all the fun cards are there we go. Close enough, good enough. Play. Let's see. MBA, Masters of Business Administration, has a little bit more time than a Doctor of Medicine. Let's see, Doctor of Pharmacy, it has a little bit more time than an MBA. Masters of Engineering have a pretty good jump of more time. And then a Juvis Doctor, what is that? JD has almost the same as a Master of Engineering, and then a Doctor of Psychology or Physiology, a PhD, has a pretty good chunk of more time to play games, and then people with a bachelor's degree have a very big jump of more time to play video games, and people with an associate's degree have more time, and people with a high score degree have a pretty big chunk. So what you're clearly seeing here is the people that decide to put their nose to the grindstone put away the video games, which is obvious. Like, high school kids are by far, of the people who are listed here, going to have the most amount of time to play games. And once you've locked down your bachelor's degree and you've decided to go for something higher than a bachelor's, that is when you put in a lot of time. Sadly, that's the only data that's actually shown in this article. And then there's a link to Price Economics blog. So they didn't... This is kind of a story just to show one graph and nothing else. No real surprise on the results. Gamasutra has another article. Tencent could sink $470 million into Battlegrounds developers' blue hole. I think you kind of have to. Like, PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds needs more money, needs to in a quicker fashion improve on PUBG to make sure it stays on top and is making itself worth more than the free alternative of Fortnite Battle Royale, because Fortnite Battle Royale is eating their lunch and everybody knows it, and PUBG doesn't right now look like it is a such an extremely better offering that it's worth paying money for. So Tencent is probably committed to PUBG all the way down to the point where people stop playing PUBG. There's a game on Steam called Fall Down. It is a very ugly Unity game in which it is just basically doing dropper maps from Minecraft without the Minecraft element. So somebody has spent the extra time to make a dropper maps that you could have much more easily had created in Minecraft and distributed that way. I suppose the difference here is you can sell it for 99 cents, where if you're making a dropper map on Minecraft, I guess you can't easily sell those. But there's like nothing here. It looks awful, and I don't know how you fix that. You can put a lot of polish on things like that, certainly, but that's kind of all you can do. There was a rather good dropper game on mobile that I saw a long time ago, where you're, instead of trying to avoid obstacles, you're trying to go as far as you can or cause as much damage to the character that is falling down as possible. And doing both of those things would push you down some challenge paths to unlock abilities and continue down an unlock path of games. This game has 60 achievements and it claims it has 60 plus, but it clearly only has 60, and 30 levels, so it's giving you 2 achievements. Let's see. The one review is, the hit detection is so bad and the floors are so wonky. I wish I could have the 99 cents that I paid for this piece of junk. The achievement tab is just pictures of the achievements with nothing else, and you can't change the sensitivity. The only way is to change your DPI, and nobody wants to do that. Why can't you get your 99 cents back? You're under an hour. You should be able to get a full refund on this game that you should have known not to buy in the first place. Anyways, that's Fall Down. Next game we have is a game called Core Grounds. It says it's an early access free-to-play strategy indie player versus player game. Whatever this is, it looks hideous. It seems like it's a grid-based MOBA / tower defense game. Trying to do something really weird. I don't want to lose this. Yeah, this is a tower defense game based on grids. Third-party EULA for no reason. Early access free-to-play game. Even at free-to-play, I would definitely recommend passing on it. Has 2 negative reviews. One of the negative reviews goes, okay, I get it. This is a tower defense game. That doesn't mean I have to spend endless hours trying to win a match. I gave up after 35 minutes, and yes, you read it right. 35 minutes of pointless fights against a level 1 AI because nobody could breach the enemy defenses. I'm sure I could have lasted way more than that, but the novelty of the game wasn't enough to keep me playing. Sorry, but no. Let's see, what is that selling for? Was this free to play? Yeah, free to play and still not worth it. Core grounds. Alright. Just continue to irritate this guy. Tech Raptor has an article. Dragon Quest 11 pre-order bonuses revealed. Let's see. If you pre-order at GameStop, you get an elevating vest and 3 seeds of skill. If you pre-order it from Amazon, you get a Vista's vest and 3 seeds of skill. So it seems like it's just a couple of vests. Not really an article I generally talk about. Dragon Quest XI Echoes of the Elusive Age is set to September 4th, 2018 for the PlayStation and Steam. The game was released July 2017 in Japan for the PS4 and 3DS, which is kind of odd that it's not coming to the 3DS in the West. I might like Dragon Quest, I might not like it, but this is an article that doesn't tell me anything about Dragon Quest, so because of that, I have no clue. So yeah, that was nothing. Gamma Sutra has an article. Dark Souls Remastered for the PS4 and Xbox One network test is set for May 11th and 12th. Let's see. In Japan, North America, and Europe, there are some different days through the PlayStation Store and Xbox Store that you can do those network tests if you're allowed in, which I'm not seeing any evidence that really it is. Network test version client is now available for download on the Japanese PlayStation and Xbox Store. For the North America, it will be available on May 1st. Like, I suppose I'm really not the kind of person though that would recommend people help, like, waste their time to help other people get their networking program, their netcode working correctly. What I want to do, wait, jump, let's do this, then do this. Let's see if I did that right now. Let's see. The big news, I suppose, the I'd forgotten that Total Biscuit had said he was not going to uh, deal with social media anymore because of his cancer and because he just frankly didn't want to deal with it anymore. So he wasn't looking really at Twitter and he wasn't really looking at Reddit. And so that might explain why there was no comment on the rumor on Reddit for his cancer treatment, his experimental liver treatment to get his liver working again had failed. But they came out and they got a response. Reddit themselves got a response and relayed the response to say, yes, it is basically what you heard is true. His cancer treatment is not working. He's stage 4 terminal. He has been for a while. He probably isn't going to last, if I was to just pick up some numbers out off the top of my head, between anywhere from 6 months to, if I was generous, I would say 4 years. Like he's gonna die. And so he's officially announced he's retiring from games criticism, which I'm not sure if he hadn't already really done that. Like maybe I wasn't following his website or wherever he was writing reviews or anything like that. So like I haven't seen him actually write any reviews or talk about any games other than on the Podquisition. No, not the Podquisition. That's the Jim Sterling podcast. The co-optional podcast is Total Biscuits. Like, so like he's still gonna do co-optional, but he's pretty much not gonna do anything else because treatments that he's still trying to do to elongate the rest of his life are just gonna mess up his schedule more. There's really not too much more you can even say from that. But he has, I guess, officially said this. Now, and that's kind of a shame, certainly. I mean, just because of anybody dying is a shame, but it's going to be a big loss to the well-known video game critics community if we lose Total Biscuit, because Total Biscuit was one of the few people that, maybe because of his cancer, didn't care about the opinions of the rest of the video game critic community so much. And so he actually talked about the whole Gamergate thing from the perspective of what it really was about, instead of immediately calling all video gamers sexist and scum, and he was actually talking about, no, actually it is wrong for a video game creator to be sleeping with the people that are writing the reviews of their games and not disclosing any of that to anybody. That being said, his friend has released Monster Party as a game he totally created, and I believe Total Biscuit has also worked in video games and lent his voice to video games, and he's tried to be ethical, but I think he probably has crossed the line too much too. The truth is, it's just really, really hard as a video game critic to put your foot down and say, I'm not going to receive review copies, I'm not going to put my voice in any game, I'm not going to become friends with the people I'm criticizing, because you have this entire society of video game creators asking you to be their friend, treating you really nice, buttering you up, and it's easy to lose perspective and fall into that. I imagine the co-optional podcast, for the most part, will fall apart as soon as Total Biscuit dies. because you're not really going to want to listen to the other two co what would you call them, co-hosts. Yeah, not really gonna want to listen to them directly, because they're gonna get off topic and not stay on topic. And Total Biscuit makes the co-optional podcast stay on track a little bit, and it's gonna completely go off the rails. And the lady co-host on co-optional is just about to give birth, so she's gonna be off the co-optional podcast pretty quickly. She's not gonna have time for it. Anytime anybody has a new kid, they have no time for anything. That's just how it goes. Just be graceful about it and say, look, she may come back in 4 or 5 years when this kid gets into kindergarten, but that's about as much as you can expect. And then Jesse is the one that is making the game, the Monster Prom game, and he's the goofy side character, and he's all right as the goofy side character, but he does not work as a host, and he will not work as a who cares? I was gonna lose anyways. He's not gonna work without the other characters playing off of him. Anyways, moving on. There's a game called Mr. Sweet on Steam. Only game from this developer for $4.49, 10% off. And what is this game? Let's see, it says it's a early access indie. No user reviews. Came out April 3rd. It seems like it's an infinite runner where you're playing as a box of French fries and other caricatures of Burger King, McDonald's foods, like a soda shake. And see, there was this whole thing many decades ago in which they would make toys and mini characters for Burger King, I believe. And I think that's what this is trying to adjust to, if that's what I'm looking at. Although they put some really grotesque looking teeth on all the characters, so their head looks like a box of French fries, but then there's also a break in the middle and teeth. And this looks like basically nightmare fuel. This is gross. And while it may make your sort of lazily made infinite runner it look a little bit different, visually there's more effort in this than there had to be. But it's not $4.49 worth of effort, and that's why there's no reviews on it. It's the all-time peak of 2 people playing this game, Mr. Sweet. If you're gonna do something this crazy, you really have to do it after you've already established yourself and had a hit success, and a big hit success. You can't start off crazy, because that's just not gonna work. Like, people aren't gonna give you the time of day, and that's exactly the case here. I would not give that game the time of day. Let's see, what kind of game is this? Let's see, Monmuso Fight, MONMUSU space asterisk space fight with an exclamation point. An action game containing monster girls, extreme battle, and nonsensical fun. It seems like a side-scrolling fighting game. It says it has action, nudity, sexual content, indie casual, and it's monster girls fighting, I think. There, I believe, is an anime either last season or this season of monster girls fighting, so I could see this as an attempt to get some sales based on somebody else's work because of that, but I think it's probably way too little, way too late. You would have wanted to put this game out as soon as that show had been announced, because I don't even think the show was that popular. I mean, for all I know, this is a legitimate license tie-in to the show. It's the only game from this developer. It's $7.99. That's extremely high. It's from it's being published by a publisher that's published a couple of other games, but all anime style games. If there's nudity here, like the first thing it says about the game is 99% translated. Only the 2D Fight Maker second engine system interface, i.e. key and gamepad configuration, is not translated. Which, okay, that's not an acceptable response. Like, only the part that you really needed to know is not translated, but everything else we swear is translated. And it's like, nope, that's not acceptable. Says no difficult input commands, perform your fabulous combos with ease. So it's a button masher, basically with no strategy or skill. That's going to kick out most fighter aficionados. There's 2 positive reviews and 0 like 2 people who got the game for free. Like that are given 2 reviews from people that got it for free, rating it high. Yeah, I can't recommend non-Muso Fight. Like, let's look into the net thing. Single player, multiplayer. So it does have multiplayer, but then you wouldn't be probably running into anybody who's actually playing it, if I was to guess. Might as well do this because I'm gonna do this, and then play here, do this, and then the turn. The character lineup, if I'm just to be fair here, it is only 7, maybe 8 characters that you select from. So the character lineup is a problem, even if you did like the monster, half anime girl thing. The fighting system is a mess. A fighting game where at most I imagine the nudity is going to be in shortcut scenes or a fatality style thing, or maybe destructible clothing. There's so much flashes as far as the fights and quick moves and flashes of power and energy flashing on top of the characters. You wouldn't ever be able to see anything anyways. Maybe there's a CG collection that comes about later. So yeah, I don't think this game suits anybody's needs. Even if you are just playing it to see nudity, you're wasting your time and money. There's better options out there. Moving on, next game we have is called Arc Surfer, multiplayer rail grinding game, high-speed racing platformer in VR, early access action racing sports. It's from a developer who made the game Beyond the Horizon for VR. It's $4.99, which seems about the average. I couldn't imagine too many people liking rail grinding in VR. This seems like this is just going to lead to motion sickness. The Giant Bomb were talking about how the new the new Oculus Mobile. What is it called? It's called like Oculus something. That doesn't really require a PC hookup, but only goes for about 2 hours of battery life, but it's a lot cheaper. Whatever that new Oculus headset is called. And they were talking about, 2 hours of battery life is about as much time as I'd want to spend on it. And I don't know, I'm still kind of leaning that if I had a really, really cheap headset for VR that I could watch Netflix on, I might be able to find a way to enjoy that a little bit better for a longer time. But I don't know. I don't even know if I want my eyes completely blocked from the rest of the world watching Netflix. Generally, when I am watching Netflix, it's because I'm supposed to be scheduling videos and doing other things. And I'm at the Humble store. Let's see if there's any new bundles. There's the Python Develop Kit Humble Software Bundle. There's a CryEngine game bundle. Let's look at that one. That looks like a video game bundle. CryEngine 2018. Pay $1 or more, you get Steam codes to a bunch of CryEngine things. But it seems like it's half games and half programming stuff, if that makes sense. But it's like Crisis Animation Pack if you pay $1 more. And then if you pay more than the average of $6.53, you get Snow Pro Pack DLC and Sniper 2 and Rise Son of Rome with Rise DLC. And if you pay $15 or more, you get Sniper 3, Ghost Warrior 3, Homefront The Revolution, which is not a good game. The Climber Asset Pack. Do you get the Climber at any point earlier? Man, does this feel like a random assortment of Crisis, like CryEngine games that maybe they only are getting games that came out in 2018 that use the Crisis engine, and maybe that's the idea, because otherwise this doesn't make a lot of sense. I shouldn't have played that first, but whatever. That was dumb of me. Let's see what this other Python pack is. I imagine Python Dev Kit is just a bunch of ebooks. Yeah, it is just a bunch of ebooks. Well, I thought maybe it would come with like a Circuit Python Adafruit mini or something. One of those Adafruit really, really easy to program for circuit boards that you can use in exchange for using something like an Arduino, which is a little bit more difficult, but not by much. Let's see. This. So yeah, I practically don't even want to win, because if I win, this is just going to take longer. So I'm back now to my Twitter, and I'm going to scroll down Twitter and just see what's happening. Like, YouTube advertiser says just 24 hours left until Brandcast. We'll be sharing photos, insights, and exciting news from YouTube. So I'll keep an eye on it to see what YouTube tells the advertisers versus what YouTube tells the content creators. PC Gamer has an article. This Fallout 4 mod sent you on a journey to retrieve your inventory from your corpse when you die, and if you fall, your corpse is gone for good. So yeah, we kind of know that gameplay style. Let's see, what do I want to do? Scrolling down. There's an airport security VR game called TSA Frisky, I think, according to Tech Raptor. I think that's probably a streaming meme game more than anything else. Let's see. Team YouTube retweeted a YouTube content creator that I follow for complaining about how ugly the new the new YouTube beta video manager looks. With it's just got a ton of white space. I did that wrong. Gamatsu has Disgaea complete for PC delayed to the summer. Let's read that. So we might have an update now. NIS America has delayed the PC version of Disgaea 5 complete from its previously planned May 17 release date to the summer, the publisher announced. Here's the full message. As beta testing was ongoing, we have been fixing bugs and the issues as they were discovered while working on corrections last night. We came across a new issue that requires additional attention that will take more time to resolve. Unfortunately, until the issue can be resolved, the release date will be postponed, and we are now targeting a release for summer 2018. We offer our sincerest apologies. Currently, we have disabled all demo keys that have been distributed. Once we have determined the game is ready to launch, we will open a new demo that will require use of new keys. Like, that seems crazy. At this time, we've also like to address the concerns of fans who pre-purchased the title. We'll be posting updates as we continue to resolve the issue. The game can be reinstalled as soon as the issues have been corrected. We understand that change in release timing may affect users' experience, so as an alternative, we'll be presenting a refund option. Please click the following to get a refund. So that seems like a really crazy way to go about things. It doesn't feel like that is the right move. And it must have been just a horrible bug. But on the other hand, it is better for a Japanese company or a Western publisher of a Japanese company like NIS America to actually release the game in a good state versus the last two major Japanese games we've seen where it was not even really a concern or a care if the game was good. They just wanted to milk the people out of as much money as possible, the fans out of as much money as possible, and sell some very poor quality games. Secret of Mana being one of those poor quality games. Let's see. PC Gamer has article. We talked about teabagging in first-person shooters, and I'm not sure I really am interested in reading this article. I'd already seen somebody had written an article complaining that some esports player teabagged another esports player in one of the conventions, and then the crowd booed him for it. I mean, it really feels like he was playing up to being a bad guy. He's being the heel in a wrestling. Hey, I won. I wasn't planning on winning. So you have the faces in wrestling, and you have the heel. And I have thought to myself, if video game critics start talking about wrestling, that's the point when they've lost the plot and should get back to video games. Anyways, the esports guy, I think he was playing the bad guy. I think he was being a jerk. I think in professional sports that is acceptable. You have jerks on basketball, baseball, football, any kind of sports, boxing, UFC. You see them all the time being trying to get in the head, trying to mess with people. Both characters were playing Tracer in Overwatch, so you have a female character teabagging another female character. Not that really changes anything or matters, but it's all fictional anyways, and it's all stupidity. The fact that somebody wrote an article about it is stupid. The fact that PC Gamer picked up this article and is going to continue to push it. Somebody was calling it virtual sexual assault, and I'm like, well, I guess it might be true if you highlight and boldface the part that says virtual. But I don't even think it would fall under that category, but maybe, I don't know. Just kind of stupid. This is yet another one of those things that I'm sure people who play first-person shooters are going to defend and say, this is our culture, this is what we've always been doing. We're not going to let people that don't even play first-person shooters and just write articles online and complain about video games no matter what the video game is or what it's doing. We're not going to let those people ruin our culture, ruin what we do. We're not going to change to appease people who are never going to be happy. And that is the right response, in my opinion. And this is such a non-article and a non-story. But PC Gamer is the source for non-articles and non-stories. And I'm trying to replace him. Unfortunately, haven't yet to find anybody that covers enough of the video game actual news to the point where I could get rid of him completely. PC Gamer completely. Let's see what I want to do. If I did this, and then this, and then in turn. PC Gamer, moving forward, has a Beyond Good and Evil 2. We'll get a live stream update later this week. I wouldn't be surprised if the live stream update is a delay moving towards a cancellation. I'm not sure if Beyond Good and Evil 2 ever actually was in development or if it was just a part of the ploy to keep Vivendi from buying Ubisoft. There is, I suppose, also an argument to be made that that what has been shown for Beyond Good and Evil 2 is not a real sequel to Beyond Good and Evil 1, and so it isn't lining itself up to be what people want anyways. So we'll have to wait and see if the game ever comes out before we can criticize it, but it definitely looks way different than the Beyond Good and Evil 1 because it's so old now that you basically need a reboot, not a sequel, but you still need to have a game that plays somewhat similar to the way that game played and not just a completely different thing. PC Gamer's next article That's all that's on my feed pretty much right now. Let's see. The next article is an arrested Overwatch hacker in South Korea has been fined $10,000. Some of these hackers are putting malware into the hacks that they're selling and publishing. I don't think we've quite hit the point where it's just people cheated on the game and they're getting arrested and charged $10,000. But, you know, in South Korea, I wouldn't put it past them to do that. Also, if there's one thing that's very much the case in South Korea is that they're, like most Asian countries, pretty totalitarian. So they uphold the law with very strict rules and regulations and sharp fines. PC Gamer's next article is Wade to the Woods follows a deer and fawn through a post-apocalyptic world. That game is not out yet. I know it isn't out yet. They've already talked about it. So there's no point in talking about it. Let's see. Team YouTube is liking the fact that somebody said, we got the community tab today. Thank you at Team YouTube. They will literally like almost anything they see that says anything positive. There is some shenanigans, though, that have to be mentioned. You cannot deny that while Team YouTube on Twitter is thumbs upping and liking people saying that they got a 1,000 they got 1,000 subscribers and they think that they're about to be in the partnership program. The truth of the matter is they're not letting people in the partnership program. So they are actively contributing to and retweeting the deception and the lie that if you get half a year's of watch time, 4,000 watch hours, and 1,000 subscribers, you'll be considered and let into the watch program. They're not doing that. They just aren't right now. They're behind and they're delaying it. And I'm not sure more than a handful of people have been let in, if anybody. It could be zero. It literally could be 0 people have been let into the partnership program since they changed the rules. And it'd be hard to prove it one way or the other. Let's not get into too much of a rant, though, and let's continue scrolling. 2 hours ago, Hearthstone episode 889 aired on my channel. Let's see, Gamasutra has an article. Nintendo credits its mobile push for the rise in Switch sales in Asia and the Middle East. I think VidCon, I think I may have said that I thought VidCon must have happened. I don't think it has, actually. I think it's happening in a week or two. It doesn't really matter to me. The free-to-play hero shooter Paladins goes into full release next week, according to PC Gamer again. And I've really got to find something else. I gotta find somebody else to write. There we go. Apparently they're having a creator summit, or they did have a creator summit, but that was probably an invite only thing. There's another Team YouTube liking somebody saying, hey, I got a bunch of subscribers. Thanks YouTube for doing absolutely nothing to help me and doing several things to hurt me in my effort to get subscribers on YouTube. Because that's, I mean, I am on a rant. I'm on a rant. I can't get off this rant. Like, how can you thank YouTube Like, literally, how can you thank YouTube for anything when you have to struggle against their policies and practices in every single action to be successful? Like, that's ridiculous. It's stupid. It's groupthink. It's sheepthink. So we got a pack and 35 gold. So you get 10 more gold if you're lucky and get 1 victory. Totally not worth that extra game. I imagine if you could get 12 victories, that would be helpful. So Resident Evil Biohazard episode 24. There's still time. That means you could spend the weekend catching up on Resident Evil, and you probably would be still cool. That aired 3 hours ago on my channel. Let's see. I'm continuing to scroll down, and I'm seeing a mix of things. Let's see, all 5 of those cards are clearly extra because I did open 50 packs. But that gets me up to 475 dust. This is... Let's see, I guess I'm disenchanting these stuff now. Wherever I got that golden card from. And this is new. But that's uncraftable. Where are we? By the way, let's see. We are not at level 60 for Druid and Warlock still. We're at rank 24. I don't think we've even started to play some rank. Standard play rank on this. So let's try a Murloc deck. Murloc decks are quick if they're not helpful. So I want to just scroll down my Twitter feed to double check to make sure there's not anything getting missed. But it does seem like there is nothing really new. Well, there's a game I missed, but it's called Mushroom Heroes. If you're interested, it looks like garbage, so we can just skip over that. Skydance Interactive is hiring for a gameplay engineer. Maybe we can look at that one while we finish up here. I know there is a daily quest on my Asian account, but I think we're fine to leave that for Friday. That keeps things pretty balanced. Bionic Commando episode 21 aired 5 hours ago on my channel. I wouldn't be surprised if that is approaching the end of Bionic Commando. Let's see. Sony brings PS2 titles to PS Now streaming service, which, okay, that certainly would be helpful. They're approaching the point where you probably could play a PS2 title or PS1 title through emulation better than through their emulation. So that is another consideration. Trivia Vault released a new version of the exact same game on Steam. Ever since I started looking at games on Steam, or almost every game that comes out on Steam, I've noticed that there are definitely some bad actors that are pretty obvious. If they just had one person at Valve looking at what was getting released, you would know immediately, this company needs to be investigated further, this company needs to be kicked off. Swords of Ditto is pretty much not getting talked about at all, other than by Digital Devolver, the publisher. It seems like the consensus is nobody really liked it. The mix of two very different styles of gameplay didn't match well. Evoland Legendary Edition has been rated in Australia, so that probably means a Legendary Edition will come out for Australia and other areas. Let's see. Nobody's talking about Sea of Thieves either, and that's weird because Sea of Thieves is still trying to be popular. A game called Yonder the Cloudcatcher Chronicles for Switch is coming out May 17th. According to Gamematsu, let's look at this one. June 15th for Europe and Australia, June 12th for the United States, selling for $40. And this might be a good child-friendly JRPG. It looks kind of like that's what it is, although it might just be an adventure game and not an RPG game at all. Let's see, it's already available for PC, so if I had time, this would be the perfect time to jump into it and play it. Let's see. Yeah. And this job for Skydance Interactive is in Marina del Rey, California. Gameplay engineer. Let's see. I probably have already looked at what Skydance Interactive has made. Archangel and Pond. Two games I don't feel like deserve anything more to have said about them. Let's just keep on scrolling down. Again, Twitter has just totally messed itself up. I cannot be anything but unsatisfied with the way Twitter is now randomly depicting content it wasn't showing before, pretending like it's in chronological order when it obviously isn't quite in chronological order. Let's see. There's a new trailer for a new Elder Scrolls Online Somerset. Let's see. What do I want to do? Divine Shield, I suppose. Let's see. Scrolling down Twitter and having nothing to say. Remember, May the 4th be with you Steam sale. Totally on right now. Now's the time to buy. Frankly, you can buy a complete collection of almost all the Star Wars games and just own them and just be done with it. Like, there's apparently a new game we'll talk about on Friday. Let's see. No victory there. Come on. Now I've hit new content again. untrustworthy source. So I clearly need to stop using Twitter. I need a new news source in which I can start over from scratch and get all press releases and articles on some other service like Twitter, but not Twitter. And I definitely don't want it to be Facebook, because I know Facebook's going to be even worse. And I don't know of anything else. Like, do I really need to just sign up for press releases and get emails? Maybe there's a system out there where I could have every tweet that comes to my account turn into an email, and then I could open every email. Like, that would be annoying as possible. Let's see. YouTube advertising says 85% of all YouTube sports fans have watched a YouTube video before making a sports related purchase. Seems like they're putting out the same metrics over and over again, with slightly different categories. So they paid somebody to do a survey. An update to Soul Calibur 6X Takai, T-A-K-I, which is some kind of ninja lady. She looks cool enough. I think, didn't Shenmue get pushed back a little bit on its announced date? I imagine it wouldn't be too much. Lego's making Ant-Man Wasp sets, which will, who knows if those would be worth anything. Probably not too much, other than to really big Lego fans of the Marvel series of sets, which are usually made for little kids anyways, so they're not the expert. Okay. Like, so now I'm at the very bottom of my Twitter. I click back to top. There's 5 new tweets. By the time I scroll down, let's see. Oh, what? Open. A new game has been out. Okay, I'm done with my Twitter feed. I'm done with the stream. We did pretty well. It took maybe about an hour longer than it should have. So again, I'm still failing to break up episodes into hour-long lists, hour-long amounts. See you on Friday. Probably not going to even have any new content recorded in between then and there. Maybe I'll do some more recording, pick a game, but I imagine I'll just be scheduling if I can even motivate myself to do that much. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. When you subscribe, please click the notification bell. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. If you want to support me even further, gift me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good